Nice one, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another week of music here at the RGM magazine thing that we do every week. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Carl Maloney, the host of this shindig, and today we've got Tom and Harry from Stan. Let me just get this right. Is it the or just Stanleys? Let me just get it right.
Just
Just
Stanleys.
Stanleys,
Oh,
that
Stanleys. I know. Yeah, I've seen
was.
some people. I've seen some people saying the Stanleys, but then on your socials it just says Stanleys.
That's
So,
it. I think we looked at all the cool bands in the area, like Blossoms and
yeah.
bands that don't use and took some inspiration.
I
It's
mean, we
it's a
were forced
complete
to do
lie.
it.
Yeah, we were forced to do it.
Who forced you to do it?
There's an Australian pop punk band from about 15
Ah,
years ago with the same name.
Yeah,
yeah.
the Stanleys. One day we'll meet them and we'll have like a little dance off for the.
Yeah.
But until that day, we're just called Stanleys.
Well, that's all right. Well, Tom and Harry, thanks for joining us for a chat about your journey as a band. You know, we like to we like to everybody's journey is unique and different. I think. But yeah, I just wanted to catch up with you guys because you've got a lot coming up. I've seen, you've got the tour with Spiral Carpets coming up. You've got your own tour coming up in May. You've got Neighborhood Festival. There's a lot of things, not nice things coming up, aren't there, at the minute? It must be
There
quite.
is.
A very busy few months. We're
Yeah.
just looking forward to get it all started. In preparation for it all at the minute, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's it. I think it's one of them with all the lockdown and stuff that's previously happened.
Yeah.
We've just been deprived of getting out and gigging, and so to have such a busy schedule with such amazing dates on, we're just buzzing. Can't wait to get
We'll
out.
come to all that in a bit, but you obviously like socialising because we find you in the pub today. Nice one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this one's for you, mate.
Yeah, you're welcome. Nice one, nice one. So
Wednesday, to be fair.
what's that, mate?
It is Wednesday, to be fair.
It is Wednesday, yeah, fair
It's,
enough.
the best night for students. I think.
Right, okay. And we find you in Liverpool out and about as well. So just talk us through where you are, your setting at the minute, and
That's it. I think because we're Wigan-based band,
Yeah.
obviously we spend a lot of our time in Wigan, but it's so easy to get to Manchester and Liverpool, so
Yeah.
we're kind of bang in the middle. So today we're in Liverpool to do a bit of shopping.
Getting a few pieces for the upcoming tour.
That's it. That's it. I think.
come on, like what? You're in the pub. You forget everything. Nothing's going to happen, is it?
No,
This is
probably
it.
not. That's how it usually
Well, you
goes.
can't lie to me, mate. I've been in this industry for. I like a drink myself, and I can see a bit of bullshit when it comes up.
I tell you, there'll be a pair of pants bought today. If nothing else, there'll be a pair of pants bought.
Trouser shopping.
Trouser shopping is all it comes from.
Fair enough. Well, whereabouts in Liverpool are you in the city centre?
Yeah, just off Lime Street at a cool little
Lime Street Central, it's called.
yeah, Lime Street Central. Courtesy of our mate Liam. Yeah, he suggested it and we've come.
Oh, nice one, nice one. So yeah, you mentioned as a Wigan band, there's something in the air in Wigan, and I'm sure people talk to you about the Lathums a lot when they interview you. Does that keep coming up now? But now they've like gone to another level.
It does keep coming up, and rightly so at the minute, because they're just smashing it death. They're flying the flag for the town.
That's it. And I think
Credit where credit's due.
obviously the community that we have in Wigan is especially with music is such a small and close knit one that it'd be weird if we didn't speak about them, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because we all grew up together, we all played together, we've done the circuit of Wigan and then took it outside, and obviously they've had major success around the areas and abroad and all sorts. So that's our level that we want to get to.
Well, what we'll do is we'll park the Latham stuff for in a bit because I want to find out a little bit about how you guys got all together and all that kind of stuff. So how did your journey, like individually, how did your journey into music happen for you both? So start with you, Tom or Harry, whoever wants to go first.
Myself, Jake, and Rob, we all went to the same school, and we'd been just noodling as musicians. Not really, wouldn't call it a band at that point, but we were playing together music, and then we got to college, and we met this fella here, and
That's it. I remember we met at Stanley College, hence the name, and yeah, I started going out with these, like going to parties and stuff. And I remember one party, me and Ivory must have been a bit wayward because It was about 3 a.m, and we came up with this plan of we'll get a band. Well, these three had already been jamming, but I was going to come down and jam with them. And so that happened on one party, and then it took us weeks, maybe even months, before I plucked up the courage to go and actually jam with them. But yeah, after that first jam, I think we all were like, "This is fun."
Yeah, but when bands start, they always say that. So yeah, I went to school. Yeah, there's 3 other people that I know. We met somebody at college, but like, how did you get into music first? How did you individually, before you met the lads? How did you physically both like start to see music as something that you
music's. I think especially in the northwest of England, music's just ironed into you from an early age.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
Parents are definitely a massive influence. Like, I couldn't get in the car with me dad without listening to a Smith song or a Morrissey song or Stone Roses or something like that. And it was just a thing that in our area there was a proper subculture and separation groups of the kids that listen to the indie music, and then the kids who are like on the techno and like doing balloons on parks and stuff like that. But like that's just the way it was. So you kind of split off into them groups, and again, that's how I found these lads, and how I eventually joined the band with them, because
we found him up in a balloon on a park.
No, I was like dipping in and out of both. I was like the indie kid who liked a bit of techno at one stage, but now it's solely indie.
Yeah. So techno, what kind of techno stuff are you into?
Oh, I don't even know. I couldn't even tell you an artist. Yeah, just something that goes on at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Okay, fair enough.
Pretty much.
And what about you, Harry?
I'd say it's fairly similar story in terms of just having everything into me at a young age. I always remember just being in the car with my parents, and I wouldn't be able to escape, like Johnny Cash or the Pogues or Kirsty MacColl, but just great music all the time. And then they just puts you onto that, and then you find out that you do actually enjoy it so much. You start your own journey and start finding some things out for yourselves.
Yeah.
And then obviously, like, you sort of become influenced by the people around you a bit later on when you're a teenager, like your friends and
definitely. I remember one of the gigs that I was like, this is where what I really want to do, kind of thing. It was one of my mates took me. He had a spare ticket to Peace in Manchester, and I never heard of the band Peace. And it was like, I must have been about 13, 14. And I'd never really been to a proper gig. And we went on a Tuesday night. We had school the next day, but we went up, and I remember watching the band and watching they do like an encore with a song. Is it World Pleasures with the bass line? Anyway, I remember hearing this and just thinking, this is cool as anything. And I'd love to be involved, but I didn't even have any musical bone in my body at that stage. And then met Ivory and met the lads, and we cracked on from there, really.
Do you have instruments in your house and that kind of stuff before?
Do you know what? My dad was in a band, but he was always a singer. So me and him joke about the fact that we always try and be in and around music, but we have no musical talent whatsoever.
Okay.
We just kind of latch on to someone who can play guitar or can play an instrument.
What was your dad's band name called?
Oh God! They were called in.
You've not got a clue, have you?
I hope my dad doesn't watch this. I do know the name, but it's just gone from my head. I'll probably remember it after.
If it comes back later, give us an heads up.
Yeah, I will do. I'm not sure they're on Spotify or Apple Music or nothing like that.
Okay, fair enough. An old vinyl somewhere.
Oh yeah, there's a CD of like a cartoon of all of them. And it's quite funny. But that's all it is. Horizontal Favors, that's what they're called.
Oh, that's quite sexual, isn't it?
I mean, I hope not. I hope it was all PC.
You've definitely never looked at it like that before.
Yeah, no, you've just changed my whole mind. I'm now
Sorry, that's my dirty potty mouth just went into action.
actually.
So
I'm
I've
look at me dad again now.
bless you, bless you. So it was so what kind of a singer was it then? Is it like when did you first like know that you can do singing as a living?
I remember hearing a cover that they did. Do you know Mary's Prayer?
I don't.
When I was Mary's Prayer. I can't remember his by, but they did a cover of that, and it's like he's got quite a powerful voice. He's got them lungs as the Papa.
Yeah.
My father like some.
And yeah, I think that's kind of my style of singing anyway, singing from the diaphragm, as they say.
Who's got the better voice?
Him, for sure. I've caned it a bit too much, that's why.
Fair enough. So like you all met at school and that, and then at college it became a 4-piece. So did you see them guys pissing about with guitars and stuff then? I thought, and then it took you. Did you say it took you a bit of courage to go up and chat to them and introduce yourself as a singer type thing?
Yeah, well, that was it. I think I didn't know anyone was that into it in our area. I didn't think anyone was meeting up and trying to form bands until I'd spoke to Harry at a party. And that was kind of the realization for me, as like, oh shit, like people are actually getting stuff done, and I want to join in with them. But yeah, like I say, it took a long while after that conversation for me to actually go and meet them up and get together and actually start playing. But we started off just doing covers, and I think one of the big things that helped us lot is we flipping love Stone Roses. So we just spend about 4 or 5 hours a day just going through every catalogue of every song, even even the Second Coming. Like we get the full catalogue of music by the Stone Roses, learn it off by heart, and just play it constantly over and over.
Well, that's how we cut our teeth. It's how we learned to write, and it's how we learned to play live. We just went round and we were basically we were only 16 at the time. We were a tribute act, basically, just going around doing cover, not to the Stone Roses, just a general.
That's it.
Like cover band going around playing all the pubs around Wigan, and we'd bring down like tiny little pubs and bring down 50, 60 of our college mates, and
yeah,
get a bit wild.
Did you before you joined Tom? Did you have a singer in place then, Harry?
We ever so briefly, yeah, but it was just out of like we'd been doing it for a while, and it was like necessity to like get. I think you can't be a band without a singer, but
What happened to the bloke? Or I presume it was a bloke that was in there temporarily.
He just wasn't. His art wasn't in it because we sort of pressured it into agreeing to it. I think we just picked the guy that looked cool and was like, "You're singer now, are you? All right, go on."
It can be that way, but people don't realize how hard work it is, do they? Committing to rehearsals and that kind of stuff, and cutting your teeth.
You really do have to commit to it. Like if you don't want to do it, then it won't happen for you.
Yeah. So they had to sell someone who doesn't look cool now.
I think you look cool, mate. That's what you were waiting for, isn't it?
Thanks, pal.
Or somebody to walk past in pub soon see you. It's great. So what were like did you have any previous names yourself? I love this question. What were you called before Stanleys?
That was the first name that we settled on.
Yeah. I know it's boring. You know what? We came up with some absolutely terrible ideas. I remember there was like one of them was like the Purple Clouds or something like
Pink Turnstiles.
Pink Turnstiles. And there was all sorts of really, really bad names going around. And we've been getting a name together because we had one of our big pub gigs, and we knew that like
we've been doing them on names for
a couple of hundred people were going to turn out for this one, and we were really excited. It was like a big one for us. We were like the day before, we were like, shit, we don't have a name. Like, what are we gonna call ourselves? And Pink Turnstiles and some more terrible names got thrown around.
Don't cut the mustard down, though.
No, they're terrible. And then I spoke to my mum. I was like, we're just going to have to call ourselves something for one gig, and then we'll come up with a name afterwards. And so she was like, well, you all met at Winstanley College, so call yourself the Stanleys. for now, and then we'll move on from there. And we're just so lazy, mate, that we just couldn't get another name.
That's a good name. It's a good name, I think.
Yeah, we could have done a lot worse. Yeah,
You could have. The only one criticism I have is when you go into Liverpool, everyone says, "Have you met my mate Stanley?"
Okay. That might be a good thing, though. If it might sell a few records in Liverpool, it might be like a familiar thing to them.
Maybe.
Oh, maybe not then. Okay, fair enough. So yeah, the birth of the band, it's just starting to happen. You're rehearsing, you're together. The lineup. Have you had any other changes in lineup at all?
Other than that, no.
6 years together now.
Yeah.
You know,
when we started like going full on, we had a name and everything. It's just been us four.
That's it. It's like a marriage now. It's got to that stage, like we just about put up with each other.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm sure we'll come back, fall in love with each other at some point.
You must find it from flowing a lot. Well, the relationship must get, you got to love Zoom, and you're talking over each other. I do apologize. Yeah, so don't you worry, mate. It is what it is. The tightness of the band must be a big test on the relationships between the band when you do start touring and you spend more time together, because that's when it really matters, doesn't it? When you're sleeping bang next to, you might be 5 years sleeping on a floor somewhere one night, and then you're moving on to the next town, or that kind of stuff. That must be like the true test of, have you got it? Have you got that thing? That grit, that skill to fucking do the music and have a go at the industry.
I'd argue all of that sort of stuff almost pushes you to go on and do it better. The camaraderie, being together, and then almost the pressure of like some big shows and stuff, that makes it even more special. Like the fact that everyone knows it's a big occasion, you need to step up rather than.
Yeah, I think one thing that I've noticed is it resembles in my head like a sibling kind of relationship. Yeah. Like it's very tumultuous in the sense that like there's ups and downs, and you're constantly falling out over stuff, and you spend too much time with each other is the bottom line. So you just like, you're bound to get under each other's skin, but with a brotherly or sisterly relationship, like there's no you can't fall out so far. You only fall out so far. Do you know what I mean? Everything gets resolved because you're gonna have to. Because you like you say, you might be sleeping next to someone in a bed in a hotel somewhere, so you can't really hold any grudges. But I think, I mean,
he's right though. Like we're just like so close now. Been doing it so long that we just work anything out, and we do fall out.
Yeah,
it doesn't last for more than a day.
In fact, they call me and Harry now. They call us an old married couple because we're like, we can have a go at each other at the best of times, but. I think we both
each other sentence.
But you don't.
You're doing it now.
Yeah, I'm sat next to him now, and he's not stabbed me, so we're okay.
Yeah, fair enough. So, when did you first start to think? When the Stanleys are out there, you're doing a few gigs, you're doing a few Stone Roses things, you're doing a few cover bands. You might have just started writing a couple of songs of your own. When did you start to think? Right, I think, lads, we've got something here. When did that start to like happen?
It's probably when we first started writing original music. Like the very first song we hit on, we thought was the Dog's Bollocks, and
what do you think about that song now?
It was our. It's still in our set list.
Oh, is it really?
So long
wow.
It is. That surprises even now, because we had a few stinkers after that one, but like the fact that we could have just almost without trying or without knowing how hit on something half decent first time out.
That is the thing. I think it's the step between like being able to perform a cover well to having your own music that you've wrote every part of it, and each bit of it is completely your own idea, and to then have that received by an audience and people singing it back. I think one of the main things that I said from the start when we first started writing music was that if whatever wherever venue this is at, if I can get to a stage where we wrote a song and I'm having the crowd sing it back to us, like the full crowd of whatever room that is, and
that's a big thing. We'd experienced that with covers, but like the first time it ever happened with an original, that was wow.
I think for me, I mean, it happened at a few gigs prior, but one of the best moments of it so far for me was our hometown gig in Wigan, and we sold it out at around 400 tickets, and we played probably a 35-40 minute set, and for every single minute of that set, everyone there was just knew every word and was singing with us, and it was just like it made it worthwhile having to lie in a bed next to him for weeks on end.
Well, how do you get to? Because you know most bands, when they first start off, it's just the friends and family coming to see him, and they might sell out an 80 cap venue or something like that. But to go quite quick into a 400 cap venue, depending on the size of your families and stuff, I don't know. Have you all got like 100 cousins or what? Or how did you sell like 400 tickets like quite soon in your career? Because that's no mean feat either.
I don't know. I don't think it was quite soon. I think it just took building over time. But we've always had like we released a lot of music early on, a lot of which is not actually up anymore, but like there was always music out for people to listen to, and I think we were really lucky in the sense we got a really strong and loyal fan base really early on.
And I think it's funny, there's no like correlation with it. There's no you'd say if you played a certain city many times that you'd have a bigger fan base, but we've kind of noticed that we've got a real good stronghold of the Northwest in terms of Liverpool, Manchester and Wigan. If we play a gig there, or when we have played a gig there over the last 2 years, all of them are sold out, which is amazing considering they're our local areas and it's places. But then we go
to North East or to London, they're all flying out there as well.
London especially, we've got plans. I can't really say too much, but we've got plans to do later on in the year to do a massive gig in London and a massive gig in one of the hometown areas. And it's just so weird for us to kind of like, I've been to London about 3 times in my life, and then to go up there and to sell so many tickets as we do and have people turn out for us, it just feels a bit strange, but in a nice way. Like
I love that. Harry, you mentioned earlier that not all your old music is online anymore. Who made that decision?
We all did collectively. I think we were just like, at the time of doing it, we were very young and naive. Like some of the songs some of those tracks are up now, but with just more updated versions. We was like, we weren't as professional back then. We were kids. Like some of like the arrangement decisions in some of the songs were just wrong, needed amending. Like we weren't earning as much money then, so the recording quality doesn't really stand the test either. So some things we've kept back in the locker, some things have been discarded, and some things we've already re-recorded.
It's a really good tip for bands that get rid of stuff offline that you're not happy with, because people will see it and judge you on it. It's a real mature decision you made there. Good work.
Yeah, and I think also though, but don't be afraid to put stuff out early, because we have definitely been helped by the music that we eventually took off the platforms that we put it on. But we've still been helped by it. It was just came to a state of we've got the fans through these songs, and what we want to do now is perfect these songs and then eventually release them properly and how we'd like to, with having the knowledge and the backing that we do now, which is something that you just learn. It's a learning curve every day, really.
Yeah. So what's in the air in Wigan then? Why is there so much? They always say, don't they, at times of like real like political problems, and you know we've all been through a pandemic, and the Tories are just fucking just a nightmare at the minute, you know, and people just feel oppressed. People feel like they're struggling, you know, the cost of living crisis and everything. It's always, you know, it brought that type of environment happened, and punk came out of it. So it feels like something's coming out of it. Does it feel like something's coming out of Wigan at all?
Definitely. I think you've got a lot of factors for it in my eyes.
Boredom, I think.
Yeah. You've got like The northwest of England, I think, especially is just on it for indie music. I think if you look all around the world, I'd say the northwest of England is the pinnacle of indie music. Right, that might be a big statement, but there's so much of it comes out of that area. And to be in and around it, like I said before, Wigan, you're literally bang in the middle of Liverpool and Manchester, like two of the pioneers of music, really. And you can't help but take the inspiration from the local areas. I think Wigan especially, we're all fueled by Galloway's pies and pasties.
Okay, fair enough.
Must be something in the deep.
Yeah, I reckon there's a secret sauce that
that
they use that really helps us all, I think.
Well, my friend Anton Pell is starting.
He's Independence, hasn't he?
Yeah, I saw that. So that venue in Wigan was that venue in trouble at some point, and then it's getting a bit refurb and stuff.
It's been refurbished. It's not so much been in trouble.
That venue's the best place on earth. Like, my ashes will be scattered across that venue floor at one stage. Yeah, for sure. It's and I think lockdown hit it hard. It's like everything, really. And I think they're just kind of refreshing it a little bit, which we're all up for. I think one of the main things is it's now closing at 4 a.m. and not 6 a.m., which is it's going to do us some favours, I think. So.
It gets a bit wild coming 5 a.m. in there at that place.
Yeah, 5 a.m. It's like bandit country.
Yeah.
I was given some great advice that I ignored every time, that nothing really interesting happens after 2 o'clock in the morning.
That is a terrible bit of advice.
I know. Well, now I'm older, it's good advice, but when I'm younger, I always ignored it anyway. So
yeah, that's it. In fact, I'd probably say on the contrary to that. I'd say that past 12 o'clock is when the brain starts working.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I'll not delve too much into what goes on in those unearthly hours with you lot. I'm sure it's
just pure productivity and
okay.
clear-headedness. Yeah, absolute mindfulness and
team meetings, band meetings. It's I suppose that those type of environments when I don't know, when you're just up to no good as a young kid and you're with your band of brothers, you're in your band and you're just fucking enjoying life. Those are the times that you just have to embrace, I think.
Yeah.
Looking back as a bit of an older geezer in that these days, I'd love looking back and not being able to remember anything. I think it's brilliant.
Yeah. I mean, it annoys the lads when I don't remember the lyrics on stage, but apart from that, it's good fun.
Yeah.
Do you refuse to have one of those like stands with lyrics on?
Oh, I couldn't do that. Do you know what? This is a fun thing for me is when we start writing a song. What I'll do is I'll have a melody in my head and I won't wrote the lyrics and I kind of mold the lyrics around the melody. So say if we're in an early stage of jamming a song, I'll just make up random lyrics on the spot, just singing a melody. And oftentimes when we've been at a gig and I've just completely lost my train of thought, I've just had to make up random lyrics. It always ends. It's normally on a song that like we've not released, so people don't know the lyrics anyway. But you know,
that's the old get out, isn't it?
I know, that's it. He's gonna look for that.
Brilliant. So your relationship with the Lathums, then what was that like coming through? You mentioned you knew from the start, and you know they're just another band from over there doing what they're doing. You're a band from over here doing what you're doing in the same city. How was it like coming through the ranks and seeing?
I don't feel it was anything like that, really.
No, go on. Okay.
Yeah, we were very close. Like Jake and Rob, we were in the same year, went to school with Alex, and then when we started the big group where we met Tom from in college, like Scott and Brian, they were close to that group anyway, and then we were knocking about with them for a bit, and we seen Alex turn up out of the blue, had a bit of an image change, and he was like, "Oh, yeah, he's in a band now." Like,
yeah,
you know, where's this come from? And
I think it's funny, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
because all the bands kind of started around the same time, but we were a mates group with like particular members like Scott and
the bands.
Yeah, we're all Scott especially like was a really big part of our mates group, and we just knew it. And so the bands is like it's a weird thing to kind of think of it because I suppose I get it from like an outside perspective. You see these bands in Wigan, but to me it's just um like it's been going on for years of the Lathums and Stanleys and other bands like Flechettes and Facades and they're all in our mates group and it's just a mates group that have these bands on the side in my head, but that sounds stupid to other people.
It does blow your head off to think about it, how like we were all mates and then all ended up in bands. It wasn't like, oh, we became friends because of music. It was just
we were definitely the real cool kids in high school.
Well, I had the pleasure of having a chat with the Lathums at Tramlines a year or so ago. And what strikes you about those guys is just so how down to earth they are. They were just about to play the main stage at Tramlines, and just how relaxed we're, just like we're just gonna have it, just like so chilled out and relaxed and just taking it all on the chin. I'm getting a similar kind of vibe to you guys. I presume that's like a Wigan thing, play it cool type thing.
Yeah, I think it's if our heart rate in Wigan like exceeds a certain BPM, we just all die. So just keep it nice and chill.
I like that.
Move slow around Wigan.
Life moves slow, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, I can imagine. It's you mentioned there just about being around other bands when that happened. When I was a kid, I used to be around quite a few of the Sheffield bands that took off, like Reverend and the Makers, Arctic Monkeys, and stuff. And they used to be in like similar circles where we used to go out and that kind of stuff. And it rang true up what you said to me about the lads. Then just like it feels weird when you're on the inside. Seeing everybody else go fucking mental about your mate's done it sometimes. It's an interesting like bubble to be in, I suppose.
That's it. I think like obviously these went to high school with Alex, and just funny little stuff like he used to be the kid that sells chocolate bars in high school. Do you know what I mean? Like selling the Lucos and chocolate bars, and that's what we see them lads as. We don't see them as these superstars that they actually are. I suppose because they sold us a few Lucasades and a few Kit Kat Chunkies.
Yeah, man. But and then you supported them recently in O2 gig and that kind of stuff. What was it like building up to that gig, supporting them and playing on the same bill as them as young lads that used to knock about with each other at school, and then you're both in this position now where you're going out to fucking have it to thousands of people?
It was really great. Like we've always played with each other from the very start. We used to play together in the pub scene, and it's just nice for them to, now they've been having the success that they've had. They're doing what they can to bring a few of the boys along for the ride.
That's it. And I think we've literally, like Harry said, we've done gigs together since we didn't have a name, kind of thing. And so it was just it was one of them things that I think we had little moments where we'd all kind of look at each other, and I suppose that they're the forefront of it in terms of the gig, but even us all, we're looking at each other and thinking, bloody hell, like we're playing some amazing venues with our mates that we grew up with.
I mean, to get to go and travel Britain and play to like 4,000 in Manchester or to like 3,000 in London, it's insane. And to think that it's a bunch of lads who all used to knock about together as kids, like
that's it. The only one thing I'll say about it though is it's a weird thing that once you've had a snippet of that, of doing these big venues and going out on the road, you're almost doomed then, because you can't go home and work a 9 to 5 anymore. Like you can't, you've got the little snippet and it's like it's teased you too much.
On the other side.
Yeah, what life would be like on the other side. So now we're spending far too much time together trying to push for our own headline gigs at places that Lathums have played and stuff. So one day.
You mentioned a couple of, did you say Flechettes there? I wanted to give a shout out to some other Wigan bands that are out there as well. Flechettes, I'm sure we've covered on RGM.
Flechettes, we actually share a practice room with them.
Nice.
God bless the band.
Yeah.
But yeah, they kind of
Go on, go on. Irish speak.
He
Irish
didn't like
speak.
that. He didn't like that one.
Tortillas reference.
Sorry, that's my bad. That was my bad. But no, yeah, again, they like bands that we grew up with and known for so long, and it's just the main thing for me is that like because we see him a lot and we've seen him for many years. The improvements over all of the bands in Wigan, like because we've all been someone's tried something new and that sounds cool, and then it's inspired another person, and like just the little improvements over the last like 3-4 years between all the Wigan bands is what will
to see how professional and what things sound like now. The songs that people are writing compared to everything we were cracking at 4 or 5 years ago. Everyone's coming leaps and bounds in their own right, big time.
Well, you've got your own tour coming up that we'll talk about. You've got you're supporting in Spiral Carpets, as we mentioned at the beginning. Neighbourhood Festival, the big stages coming. So it must be an exciting time for you guys now. So how do you guys like plan ahead for these things?
We just get in the room and make sure we know our stuff, and
get loads of socks. Loads of socks. It's always
you guys don't buy any pants or socks today. I'm gonna be very angry with you.
No one ever brings enough socks on tour. That is one thing that I've noticed. I don't know why, but no one ever.
Speak for yourself on that, I've got my
you
covered.
You have one pair of socks and just
nobody's lending you socks, Tom. Nobody's lending you socks, mate. I think stay off my socks. Who else has been fun to support over the years? Like, tell us about some other big names.
I love supporting Royston Club at Gorilla.
Oh, nice.
It was a funny one that like I went to uni in Liverpool, and we'd always there was 9 lads in a house. Jake was in the house with us, and there was a couple of lads from Flechettes and stuff that lived in the house, and we'd always like bounce on each other for new music. And I remember picking up a song by Royston Club, not knowing anything about the band, and we all got obsessed with it in the house, and we were playing it constantly. Like you'd hear, because there was like 3 different floors and 3 different showers, you'd hear in the morning everyone in a different shower playing the same fucking song. And then like we got a chance to support them and got to speak to them, and like we got on drinks since me and the lads from Royston, and they're really good lads, and it was just like a funny moment where it was like, in a weird way, I remember listening to that song and thought they were an American band from like listening to it first time over and not doing any research, and then to know they were so local to us, and now we kind of we've got a good relationship with the lads. And but Gorilla is one of my favorite venues anyway, so that gig for me was amazing.
It's something about Gorilla, isn't it? It's such a like strange little venue under the train tracks there in Manchester. It's a strange little like place. It's just got a vibe to it. I love that venue.
Yeah.
So
I've always enjoyed supporting Jamie Webster, because his crowds are just up for it. They're proper rowdy bunch, and always makes for a good night.
This man loves a rowdy bunch.
Yeah.
Well, we've had Jamie on the podcast before, and he's such a down to earth sound lad, and I've seen the reaction he gets from his crowd when it's playing. That must have been great. What specifically was it about Jamie's gig that made you think
that? There's a few factors, just the crowd being so up for the gig, getting involved, and even if they don't know the songs, dancing. Some of them did. There was a lot of singing along going on, and always, like, if you're with him, it's decent sized venues. Like the special one was the Ritz in Manchester. Yeah. We've done that a couple of times, but it was proper.
It was a good one. Night. The only thing about that night is I did get my first bit of hate mail.
Oh, go on.
Which is quite funny, because we were playing the Ritz, supporting Jamie, and after we finished the gig, like obviously you got a changeover. So I went off the stage, and then Harry and Jake and Rob were kind of taking the cymbals off, getting the amps moved off.
Of course, the singer doesn't get involved with any of that bullshit.
No, of course not. Well, this is so. Anyway, I went upstairs to the balcony, and some woman came over to me, and she was like, "Why didn't you help the lads?"
Oh, okay.
And I honestly, this is the truth. Is that these lot wouldn't let me anywhere fucking near their equipment. So, like, I'd love to go and help them, but they wouldn't let me touch anything because they all have specific orders of where things go. And
if you want someone doing properly, do it yourself.
Exactly.
Fair, not to be trusted. Okay.
But yeah, spoke to this woman for a bit and tried to explain this point, and she just said, "No, I'm not having it. I just think you're really cocky and arrogant."
You're blowing up on Twitter.
And then she post about me, saying basically that the blurb of it was, "Well done to the 3 members out of the Stanleys, but the lead singer's an arrogant twat who can fuck himself."
Welcome to the internet. That stuff's not going to get any better, I'm afraid, boys. I'd like to tell you.
Well, I hope that woman's having a lovely day. Anyway.
Yes, good. How do you prepare as a band? Like, you've got your gigs coming up, but like it's festival season upon us. My favorite time of the year. How do you prepare different for festivals?
Yeah, I think festivals are one of them where it's in a weird place where you can be a bit more experimental, I suppose, because it's kind of a one-off show, and a lot of people there are gonna have come and just to see an act, just see what they like, and I think it's a really good opportunity to grab people who haven't heard of you before, or haven't quite followed you or liked you as much as you'd like them to. So in those moments, we try and just put on the best show that we can, and maybe be a bit more experimental with the song choices, and throw a few covers in there if we want to, stuff like that, just to try and
just be a crowd pleaser for people who might not know us. But at the same time, it's a different kind of preparation as well, because you've got to work hard on just making sure that you are set for it, because it's all right most of the time, but if you've got consecutive dates and you can't really stick around. But we've got a bad habit with the festivals. If it's just that weekend, we'll be there all weekend.
Yes,
we'll have a good time.
That is not a bad habit. That is
it's a good habit, but it's all right when you're playing on Friday. But if you're playing on Sunday, then
yeah, true. We did last year. We did Kendall Calling and Why Not festivals.
They were all right though, because they were next to each other.
They were. We did the full weekend camping, and then come Sunday we were playing.
Are they on the same weekends these days?
Yeah.
So you did one day at one and one day at the other one?
Yeah, we did the Thursday at Why Not, then stayed at Why Not till Saturday camping, and then did Sunday at Kendall. And yeah, we probably didn't look as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed as we normally would on the Sunday of Kendall, but it was a good laugh, and I think we played class. I thought we
it was a good set.
No, it's good. I know what it's like, festivals, particularly if you've just at that one for the weekend. Because I always cover tramlines in Sheffield, and I put gigs on Thursday and Friday on the Fringe. So it starts on Thursday, and I don't get back till Monday. It's a long haul. It's a long stint in it, a festival, but it's quite like
it is.
It's such a different, particularly in Sheffield at tramlines, because there's an inner city arm of the festival and the main festival, where it's just like the city's just a different place to be for a weekend. So it's just so nice to around festival people. They're just it's a different type of human, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. There's a lot more high spirits, and it's a good laugh.
Yeah,
all right, good laugh. It's kind of like what? Yeah, I don't know what I was going to say.
Right. So, like for Stanley fans watching this, thanks guys. Do you have a message for them for your up and coming tour and the festivals with Spiral Carpets and Neighbourhood Festival coming up? Do you have a message for the people that are thinking about coming to watch you that haven't pressed the button yet on a tour ticket, for example?
Well, if you haven't done it, then why?
Yeah, you don't know what you're missing. That's simple.
That's as bad as resellers.
Fair.
No, I think we've got so much new music that we've been working on. We're going into the studio in the next month to get these songs out, but we want to try and run them around and get the audience and get their kind of feel for the songs. So we're definitely going to be playing some new music, which is ace. That's something that we really enjoy. We've got a lot tighter, I think, and we're really looking forward to these next couple of dates.
We've been working a lot on the live show, not just like us playing, but the whole thing as a show and a performance rather than just the music this time. So
that's it.
We're looking forward to going out and doing a bit of that with the stage setup and the lighting show and see how it works as a whole piece.
It won't quite be Talking Head Chicago.
No, not quite on there. No one's jogging on the spot.
No one's jogging on the spot. Yeah, I'll do fitness routines midway through the gig, but like
my knees don't bend that way.
we tried that with him. He had an heart attack, so we had to stop that.
Bless you. Well, what I'll do, I'll put a link to your tour tickets and that kind of stuff in the description of this podcast, and it'll be on YouTube wherever you're listening or watching this thing. Guys, really appreciate your time. You crack on, go and buy some socks and pants in Liverpool. Treat yourself to another pint though before you set off. There's no point being daft about it, is there? Tom, Harry, thanks guys, really appreciate your time. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much, mate. Thank you, Gal.